Hold on to your helmets, college football fans, because a bombshell just dropped that has rocked the very foundations of the Big Ten. For years, it was a whispered dream, a what-if scenario that seemed utterly impossible. But today, the impossible has become a stunning reality. Michigan has officially named their new head coach, and it's none other than the legendary Kyle Whittingham. Yes, you heard that right. The man who built a dynasty in the Pac-12, the stoic leader of the Utah Utes, is trading crimson for maize and blue. Just a few short years ago, the idea of Whittingham leaving Salt Lake City, let alone for Ann Arbor, would have sounded like pure fantasy. But here we are. This isn't just a coaching change. This is a seismic shift in the college football landscape. The question on everyone's mind is, how did this happen and what does it truly mean for Michigan? We're diving deep into the biggest coaching story of the year, right here on Global Pulse. Now, let's talk about the vibe in Ann Arbor, because it's complicated. If you check social media, you'll see some Michigan fans who are absolutely irate. They were dreaming of a young superstar or a massive splash hire. Instead, they got a 66-year-old veteran from the Mountain Time Zone. But here is the reality check. Whether you like the sparkle of the hire or not, Kyle Whittingham is a massive objective upgrade. Let's look at the facts. Michigan is coming off a chaotic era with Sharon Moore that ended in scandal and legal headlines. They needed stability, but more importantly, they needed a winner. Whittingham brings 177 wins and a reputation for being your favorite coach's favorite coach. He's a culture builder who wins with toughness, which is exactly the Michigan identity. For the fans who are mad, ask yourself, would you rather have a cool name that might fail, or a proven legend who has spent 2 decades winning with half the resources Michigan has? This isn't just a hire, it's a course correction to save the program's dignity. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Kyle Whittingham is 66 years old. In the world of college football, that's often the age where coaches start looking at beach houses, not Big Ten schedules. This has led a lot of experts to call him a bridge coach, a steady hand brought in for 2 or 3 years to clean up the mess left behind before handing the keys to a younger successor. But is that actually the case? If you look at the paperwork, Michigan isn't treating him like a temporary fix. Whittingham just signed a massive 5-year deal worth over $41 million. That's $8.2 million a year. You don't pay that kind of money with 75% of it guaranteed if you think a guy is just keeping the seat warm. Whittingham himself has joked about entering the transfer portal rather than retiring. He's energized. If he coaches out this full contract, he'll be 71. That's not a bridge, that's a full-on era. Michigan isn't just looking for a reset, they're betting that Whittingham's old school discipline is exactly what the modern chaotic era of NIL and the transfer portal needs for the long haul. Now, some might wonder, why would a coaching legend like Whittingham, who built a perennial winner at Utah, leave it all behind? The answer, my friends, comes down to one thing: resources. Think of it this way, and this is a brilliant analogy I heard recently. Kyle Whittingham is a Michelin star chef. At Utah, he was cooking incredible award-winning meals out of a relatively small, good, but limited kitchen. He had to be incredibly creative, efficient, and make every ingredient count. He won championships, but he had to do it with a smaller budget, fewer top-tier recruits, and less national spotlight. Now, imagine that same chef is suddenly handed the keys to the biggest, most state-of-the-art culinary palace in the world. We're talking unlimited budget, access to the freshest, most expensive ingredients, a massive marketing team, and every piece of top-of-the-line equipment imaginable. That's what Michigan is for Kyle Whittingham. At Michigan, he's getting elite NIL money, a national recruiting base, a legendary stadium, and a brand that practically sells itself. He doesn't have to do more with less anymore. He gets to do more with more. This isn't just a lateral move, it's a massive power-up for a coach who has already proven he can win big. The question now isn't if he can win, but how much more he can achieve with these unprecedented resources. Beyond the X's and O's, this coaching search did something Michigan hasn't seen in over a decade. It shook the tree. Think about it. Michigan hasn't had a real, wide-open coaching search since they hired Jim Harbaugh back in 2015. Since then, it's been internal promotions and staying in the family. But this time, the doors were thrown open, and when you shake the tree, you find out which branches are strong and which ones are dead. We saw names like Kalen DeBoer and Kenny Dillingham fly around, only for the process to look, frankly, a bit discombobulated at times. It revealed who in the administration can keep a secret and whose lips are loose. Why does this matter? Because Michigan is still navigating a massive NCAA probation and the fallout of the Sharon Moore dismissal. By going through this trial by fire search, athletic director Ward Manuel and President Santa Ono had to do a hard inventory of their own process. They found out how airtight or how leaky their operation really is. This search was a wake-up call that Michigan's old way of doing business had to evolve for the modern era. Whittingham is the prize, but the lesson learned by the administration might be even more valuable for the next 5 years. The honeymoon period? It doesn't exist in Ann Arbor. Kyle Whittingham has exactly 0 seconds to celebrate because the battle for Michigan's future is happening right now in the locker room and the transfer portal. Priority number 1. Bryce Underwood. Keeping the superstar freshman quarterback in a Michigan jersey is arguably more important than the coaching hire itself. Rumors are already swirling that Whittingham is bringing his secret weapon from Utah, offensive coordinator Jason Beck, specifically to build a high-octane system around Underwood's elite talent. And on defense, keep your eyes on Jay Hill. The BYU defensive coordinator and former Whittingham disciple is the top target to replace Wink Martindale. This tells us one thing. Whittingham is building a Utah North, taking the toughness of the Wasatch Front and injecting it into the Big Ten. This hire was a shock, a gamble, and a massive financial commitment. But if Whittingham stabilizes this roster and keeps the portal from raiding the Big House, Michigan won't just be back, they'll be dangerous. So what do you think? Is Kyle Whittingham the man to lead Michigan back to the promised land, or is 66 too old for the Big Ten grind? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Global Pulse for all your breaking news.